You ever see somebody so obsessed with control, so hell-bent on protecting the neighborhood that they end up destroying themselves? That's exactly what happened with Karen Piton, the queen bee of Maple Grove Estates, or at least she used to be. The sound of that judge's gavel still rings in my ears. You know, one sharp smack, and her whole empire collapsed, just like that. It wasn't just any court day. It was the day I stood up to the HOA, the day I walked away holding the keys to Karen's 4,000 square foot palace, the same place where she used to throw those smug members-only parties and hand out violation notices like Halloween candy. My name's Alex Morrison. I'm a mobile mechanic, blue-collar through and through. 3 months ago, all I wanted was a simple shed in my backyard, a 10x12 structure painted sage green so it wouldn't stick out. Just something to keep my tools and spare parts out of the rain, nothing fancy. But the morning after I put the last screw in there, it was a bright orange violation right on my door, signed by none other than Karen herself. And that my friend was the spark that set Maple Grove on fire. Now, I'd lived here 5 years without a single dust-up. The HOA used to be fair, sometimes strict, but mostly just folks trying to keep the lawns tidy and the mailboxes matching. All that changed when Karen took charge. She swept in promising order and property value, but what she brought was a reign of terror. Mailboxes too glossy, gnomes too whimsical, trash cans left out 3 minutes too long. I mean, you couldn't sneeze without risking a fine. My little green shed. That was her obsession. Her first notice quoted some visual harmony clause, section 12.4, if you're into that kind of thing. I sent her all the permits and photos showing I was within the rules, but she shot back with a $50 daily fine. Tried to reason with her at the board meeting, but she just pursed her lips and told me my business was an eyesore. "We can't have industrial blight here, Mr. Morrison," she said, like I was trying to run a junkyard, not just keeping a few wrenches in a shed. The fines doubled, then tripled. I racked up $3,000 in a month just for standing my ground. Every email went unanswered. Every plea for mediation ignored. By the second board meeting, she'd had security toss me out for being disruptive. I hadn't even opened my mouth yet. That's when Karen made her big move, a lawsuit demanding my shed be torn down plus $10,000 in damages. She must have thought I'd just roll over. She didn't know who she was messing with. See, that was my breaking point, not in anger, but determination. I called my old buddy David Hutchinson. He'd just passed the bar and was itching for his first real courtroom brawl. Over coffee, we poured through every document, every email, every snippy little note Karen had left. David's eyes lit up like Christmas when he saw how the rules only seemed to matter when Karen wanted them to. You know what he said, I bet Karen's not squeaky clean either. So we did some digging. We checked public records, city permits, old aerial photos. Turns out Karen's place was a shrine to rule-breaking, an oversized patio, a fountain built without permits, and her precious Japanese garden. It had a koi pond that broke both HOA rules and city ordinances. That was just the start. Once neighbors caught wind that I was fighting back, they came out of the woodwork with stories. Robert had emails where Karen threatened him unless he voted for her. Patricia showed us video of Karen measuring her hedges at sunrise, hunting for violations. And Tom, a retired vet in a wheelchair, said she tried to fine him for his ramp until he mentioned the word lawsuit. We built a case not just about my shed, but about Karen's pattern of harassment. 2 days before the first hearing, David filed a countersuit, harassment, defamation, abuse of power. We wanted damages for lost business legal fees and punitive damages for Karen's targeted intimidation. Karen's fancy lawyer Richardson clearly wasn't expecting any pushback. You should have seen his face when we served him. The courtroom was supposed to be about my shed, but David turned it into a trial of Karen's character. He showed my shed met every rule in the book. Then he proved Karen let other folks build bigger sheds as long as they played nice. The judge's eyes got narrower with every piece of evidence. When Richardson tried that visual harmony nonsense, David dropped the real bomb, Karen's own emails where she talked about driving out the riffraff and targeting people who hadn't backed her campaign. You could feel the whole room shift. Karen looked like she'd swallowed a lemon, her power slipping away with every word. And then came the twist evidence of her own violations backed up by city records and aerial photos. Her koi pond illegal, her patio too big, her garden pavilion technically an unpermitted dwelling. She owed more than 50 grand in fines by her own HOA's rules. When the judge asked if she'd known about the permits, Karen tried to weasel out, mumbling something about verbal approvals. The judge didn't buy it, especially after Karen's own rejection letters for my fully permitted shed. We even had city emails where Karen tried to make paperwork disappear for her own property, promising favors in return. You know what I mean? The air in the courtroom was thick with the smell of panic, hers. The verdict. Not only did I win on every count, but the judge found Karen had abused her power, misused HOA funds, and defamed me to the whole neighborhood. She owed me $137,000, total lost business, emotional distress, punitive damages, all the legal bills. And then just for fun, the judge kicked it over to the district attorney for potential criminal charges. That same night, the board called an emergency meeting. Karen was kicked out, unanimously banned for life from HOA positions. Her real estate license went under review. Within a month, she'd lost her job at Maple Grove Realty, the same place where she'd lorded her position over the rest of us. Did Karen back down? Not a chance. She threw more money at lawyers, appealed every decision, but the court shot her down every time. Meanwhile, the bills piled up. She'd borrowed against her house for legal fees, sure she'd win it all back. The bank foreclosed 3 months later. Her beloved mansion went to auction. That's when David called me with the most poetic idea I'd ever heard: buy the house. I did. No one else wanted the bad juju. I got it for 70 cents on the dollar thanks to all that legal mess. The look on Karen's face when she found out I'd bought her house, man, I wish I'd taken a picture. She cornered me in the parking lot, ranting that I'd ruined her life over a stupid shed. But I didn't say a word. I just held up the keys. Sometimes you don't need to say anything at all. But I didn't keep that house. That's not who I am. I leased it to Veterans Haven, a nonprofit for homeless vets. That meditation pavilion Karen built illegally. It's now a therapy room. The koi pond, fully permitted, now a peaceful spot for folks dealing with PTSD. Karen's old kitchen feeds people who actually need it. Maple Grove changed too. The board rewrote the bylaws. Now you can't just make up fines or toss folks from meetings. There are term limits, actual standards, and real appeal processes. My shed's still out back, painted sage green, full of tools, just like it should be. Business is better than ever. Neighbors trust a guy who stands up to bullies. Sometimes I'll see the vets by the koi pond laughing in a place that used to stand for fear. 6 months ago, I was just a mechanic trying to mind my own business. Now I'm proof that a little pushback can topple a tyrant. Karen lost her house, her power, her reputation, all because she couldn't let a working guy have a shed. You know, justice is supposed to be blind, but sometimes I swear she's got a wicked sense of humor. They say Karen left town. Maybe she's with her sister. Maybe she's stacking boxes at some department store 2 counties over. Doesn't matter. What matters is Maple Grove's a real community again. And if you ask me, all it took was one stubborn mechanic, a shed, and a neighborhood that finally remembered what it means to look out for each other. So let me ask you, where do you draw the line between order and overreach? Was I right to fight back, or did I go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because every neighborhood's got a Karen, and every Karen meets their match eventually.